What's up, everyone? Carmine Dinisco here on the Launch Network. We have a cool show today on the Launchpad. Good friend of mine. We've been talking back and forth for years. This particular guest has given me some great advice over the years. Legend in the industry. And we're honored to have him on here. We've been talking for the last 20 minutes. I forgot. Hey, listen, let's turn on the microphones and get this going. It happens every time we get together just because there's so much history, so many memories, so much great stuff that has happened over the many years. And hopefully we'll be able to capture some of that today. We only got about 30 minutes, but we can always bring him back on. My friend, the legendary $1 billion man, Mr. Bob Circosta. Bob, what's happening, buddy?
Well, Carmine, always a pleasure to be with you, my friend. You were talking about our history and our past that goes back many years, and it just made me smile, because we've had so many good times and be able to and I followed your growth with your organization, and you're just doing a phenomenal job. I mean, offering such a great service to so many people. So I'm honored to be here with you, my friend.
Thank you, man. It's and I know I use a lot of the things that you've taught me over the years that we've been together. And I even admit, like, I'd be like, hey, Bob, he doesn't know what he's talking about when he told me stuff. And man, that screwed me up because I was like, damn, Bob was right again.
Well, experience, I guess,
Yeah. Yeah. As entrepreneurs, and you always try to think for yourself. And sometimes you just mentioned it a minute or two ago, you have to make mistakes. You have to fall down. But having people like yourself and having mentors and people like yourself as friends and things like that, that's really a big thing in almost any industry, right?
Oh, there's no question. I mean, the entrepreneurial mind is unlike anything else out there. And part of it is rejection and failure. But entrepreneurs are able to look at possibilities and not problems, and they're able to take the rejection and work with it and work through it. That's the big difference. And that's what you have to do, because that's the only way we learn anything is by doing something wrong. And that's how you learn and say, okay, I don't want to do that anymore. That didn't work, so I better try this. And rejection and failure, so to speak, it's part of our everyday lives. And you just have to keep moving along. I heard a quote years ago that failure is the tuition for success. And it's true. I mean, you have to experience it. I don't know anyone who has not experienced failure, rejection, call it what you will. You just got to keep moving. You got to keep moving. Make it look like a parade, okay? Just keep moving.
Like that. Wherever you are, it's the best place to be.
That's right. That's exactly right. I mean, you're going to fail more than you
Yeah.
succeed. You're going to hear no more than yes. But the interesting thing is that if you hear yes just one time, it can change everything.
Yeah.
And that's the important thing to keep in mind.
Yeah, that's so true. And I know you volunteer a lot and you talk to young adults and entrepreneurs. You probably get emails and questions all the time. And that's one of the things that I always try to let people know is as they're young, while they're doing this stuff, fail. Make these decisions and learn from it. And they're all the more they're all the more better for doing that and attempting, because you've probably seen it where people are scared to try something, but how are you supposed
Sure.
to learn?
Sure. Well, yeah, you have to take action, on whatever you're working with. You have to take action. And sometimes the fear of failure stops you from taking the action. Well, then nothing happens.
Mm.
So if you did absolutely nothing and nothing happened, why should you be surprised? Of
Yeah,
course. All
yes.
right. Do it. And nothing is going to work out exactly the way that you think it's going to anyway. Trust
Oh,
me, it's going to be different. We used to have a saying years ago, you have to learn how to go with the flow or you'll go out with the tide. So really, maneuvering back and forth and that type of movement is critical to know. Don't get stuck on one thing.
yeah.
Be able to move.
Yeah. We talked about those types of things, and I think younger entrepreneurs and even ourselves, there's so much change happening so quickly that younger entrepreneurs, a lot of people think they have it easier, but I think they have it easier in a sense because of things that we have done and failed, but also I think they have it harder in a sense with all of the technologies. I mean, they can start a business and it could go viral overnight and they're not prepared for it, or it could take time. I think that a lot of things that our younger entrepreneurs are doing, you know it's easier and it's harder. And you have you noticed those types of things with technology and things like that are easier and harder at the same time?
Oh, no, no question about it. It's a great point to make because it's so competitive now because accessibility is so easy. I mean, you can go online and do different things in a matter of seconds. Things could change, but there are a lot of other people doing the same thing.
Mm.
So you have to focus on what sets you apart, but you have to get out there. You have to let people know who you are, what you're doing, what you have. You got to get out there. I mean, if you're not getting out there, you're not building a brand, you're building a secret, so to speak. And you don't want to do that. Ted Turner, who many people know, he created and invented CNN back in the 80s and revolutionized broadcasting, no question about it. He used to have a favorite saying about getting out there and letting people know who you are. He used to say, early to bed, early to rise, work like hell, and advertise. That's what he used to say all the time. And it's true. You got to get out there. You could be sitting at home with a great idea, a great product, a great service that you offer that could really change lives and help people. But if you're not letting others know about it, you're not progressing the way that you should. And to your point, today it's so easy to get out there. It's so easy to grab that audience, but you're doing it very competitively. So you have to do it in a way that's what separates you from everybody else. What's your unique point that you have that no one else has?
Yeah. Yeah. And what I found, and I want to get into some of your home shopping stories
Sure.
and days, but what I found is that um if you're out there, and they I get worried sometimes, is people just love to jump on you if you do something wrong.
Oh,
You're like,
sure. Of course. Of course. That's just life. That's going to happen. I mean, you have to have a thick skin. You
yes.
you cannot get so emotionally tied to what you have that if somebody even implies remotely something negative about what you have, that it just crushes you and ruins your whole day. You can't do that. You have to have the belief in what you're doing, that no matter what people are going to say, what people are going to think, you still believe that this is the way to go. But at the same time, you got to be able to maneuver. You got to be able to change.
Yeah. And with the thick skin part, super important for you for you entrepreneurs out there.
Tough.
You really can't be emotional in that sense, because sometimes even negative feedback, I don't want to say, is sometimes positive.
Sure, sure, of course. It goes back to failing. It goes back to making a mistake. If you keep it in context, if you keep it for what it is, and don't get so emotionally judged by it, self-judged, I should say. If you don't do that, then yeah, that feedback. You're right, Carmine. I mean, the feedback can be great. It could change things for the better for you.
Yes.
So you got to keep that mind open.
Yeah. Are you and I know you still are doing things around. Are you still getting people? I mean, I know you used to constantly get connected or contacted with products and people sending them to you. And I know that home shopping has kind of moved out of our area. Is that still happening where people are still like, "Hey, Bob, here's my product"?
All the time, thank goodness. I hope it never ends. You know, I hope it never ends. Yeah, we still have products on the air, many, many products in the home shopping universe. And because it's such a viable way to get your product out there, it's a great way to do that. So yeah, very much as I'm as involved today, I think, as I've ever been. I'm doing a little bit more conferences and going out and speaking and appearing on panels more than I used to, which I thoroughly enjoy. And try. I hope something I say or something I think can help someone. And if it just helps one person, the whole thing is worth it. But yeah, people bring me products, and I always get the call. Listen, you want to make $1 million? I'll say, okay, yeah, okay, why not?
It's the question.
Yeah, I got $1 million idea. Well, of course you do. Tell me about it. And then we go from there. And sometimes it hits,
Yeah.
So I don't think for a second, yeah, come on, this is a joke. I don't think about that for a second because I know the person has put a lot of thought into it. And I like to point out, this is not going to work because this or that. It will work because of this or that, whatever the case may be. But yeah, I still very involved, thank goodness. And having seen the industry from day one,
Yeah.
having seen it from day one until today, you can just imagine the changes that I have gone through, the changes I have seen, observed, been a part of over all these years. It's been a terrific journey, and it continues, thank
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's when you just said that, we were joking about, you have to be technical using Zoom and all these things. And then you just mentioned from day one, the technology changes must be so vast that it's
Oh
probably
my.
mind blowing.
Oh my. We had a telephone. That was it. Okay. When we started, there were no cell phones whatsoever. We had a regular telephone, and because it started on the radio. The TV home shopping business started on radio, which many people are surprised to hear. And it started on a radio station that didn't sell merchandise or anything like that. It started on a news talk formatted radio station. And so we did talk shows and we did news all the time. But because this was probably the world's worst radio station, we had very few listeners. And when you don't have a lot of listeners, you end up not selling a lot of advertising. And when you don't do that, you don't stay on the air.
Mhm.
So the owner of the station one day, Bud Paxson, he went into an appliance store locally and he sold a 13-week advertising contract to the appliance store. And so for 13 weeks on my talk show, not selling anything, but advertising, I would talk about the appliance store and tell people to go in. This is on sale, that's on sale, yada yada. And so at the end of the cycle, Bud went back in to collect on the advertising to get the money. And the guy who owned the appliance store said, what are you doing here? And Bud said, well, I'm here to collect on the bill and renew the advertising. The guy said, renew? Are you kidding me? He said, not one person has come in here and even said they heard my commercial. He said, this is true now. He said, you really have the world's worst radio station. And so they went back and forth, back and forth. Finally, the guy who owned the store said, I tell you what I'll do. Instead of paying you in cash, I had a big look back by the door. I had a big box of merchandise come in. Take a box of merchandise. Well, Bud had no idea what he was going to do with it, but he put the box in the car, came back to the studio, and they said during the break, we want you to sell this can opener. And I remember looking at him and saying, well, I'm a newsman. I have morals and ethics. I don't want to sell something. And he said, well, I'll give you $1 a can opener. And I said, well, it looks pretty good after all. That was a lot of money back then. And so I came on and said, come on down to the studio. Call me up right now. If you call me up, reserve a can opener, come on down to the studio, pay for it, it's yours. And pretty soon, the couple of the lines they lit up. And I'd never seen that before because nobody had ever called me before on the show. And that day, that was August 28th, 1977, and we sold 112 electric can openers. That was the begin. 112. Took us about an hour to do, and it was the beginning of what we now know is the TV shopping industry. It stayed on radio for 5 years.
Oh,
5 years, but talk about a great way to learn how to describe something. I mean, if you're on radio, I mean, I used to sell a necklace, and I would bang the necklace on the microphone and say, "Hear that quality?" You know, and
Hear it.
but you get very creative,
You
and you
can't
really,
see it.
yeah, you can't see it. And people would come down to the radio station, and we would put them on the air, and that was the birth of the testimonial.
Oh,
People would
wow.
talk about, because they had to come down to the studio to pick up the merchandise initially. And so 5 years on radio, then 1982, they wired this county that we're in, Pinellas County, they wired it for cable.
Oh, yeah.
And so we leased a channel, Channel 52, and it became the home shopping channel. And then in 1985, we went nationwide on the Galaxy satellite, coast to coast, July 1, 1985.
Wow.
And that first day was incredible. I mean, I remember going on. In fact, in my office, I have the script that
Oh,
I typed it up on an old typewriter, and Bud went in and changed everything. And I don't, do they have typewriters anymore? I don't know. I don't think so. But anyhow, so I said, "Welcome to the Home Shopping Club." That's what it was called at that time. Welcome to the
sure.
club. And and you could join the club for nothing. It didn't cost anything, and you got a big discount on your first purchase and all that. But I said, "This is our first day, and I tell you what we'll do. If you call me up right now in the next 3 minutes, we'll give you a 14 karat gold serpentine neck chain, absolutely free. We'll even pay the shipping. All you
Wow.
got to do is call me up." It was so exciting. The room was filled with operators. It was great, and no one called. Not one person called. It was the longest 3 minutes in my life. And so then we went to a few other products that were deeply discounted, and a few calls would trickle in. But here it is. It's 1985. Nobody is used to
No.
buying this way. Who's this guy on TV saying, "Just call me up and I'll send you something free"? What's the catch? What's the gimmick?
Sure.
And then a couple of items deeply discounted. They did call, they did get. They called up a few days later and started, talking about the quality, and they enjoyed it. And that's how it slowly progressed. But that first day, 5 hours on the air, total sales. Here's a question if you're on a game show and trivia. First day nationwide home shopping, total sales, 5 hours, coast to coast, $352.
You couldn't even pay for lunch for you to cool the
No, are
team.
you kidding? We had to pass the hat to do that. Are you kidding? But the amazing thing, within 90 days of that day, we did
Yeah.
$1 million
In
in
one day.
one day.
That's
In one
amazing.
day.
Now
Yeah.
that is amazing.
Yeah, the progress and everything, it really grew so fast because people started talking about it, and it's just been a great ride. It really has.
Yeah.
But that's how it all began. That's how it all. But the interesting thing, and you mentioned a moment ago, social media, the power of social media today. If you have one of these, and I'm holding up a cell phone, and I
Yeah.
would imagine practically everybody watching, listening to us, you have a cell phone nowadays. If you have a cell phone, guess what? You have your own home shopping channel
That's
today.
right.
And you have to think about, how do I make that work for my business? Now, why do I say you have your own home shopping channel? Because the home shopping model is what? It's a person, a product, and a camera. What if you do a video on TikTok Shop, or do a video on Facebook or Instagram, or any platform, what are you doing? It's a camera, a product, and a person. It's the same dynamic. So if you want to really progress, if you really want to get the word out and maximize your dollars and start making money right away, that is the way to think. It's social media, and it's a powerful, powerful way. Even the home shopping channels nowadays are gravitating into social media because they know television viewership is down, it's decreasing, and it's going to continue to decrease because of the availability of so many other things. And so social media is the way to go. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're an inventor, if you have a product, a service, a business, an idea, and you want to get it, if you just want to promote yourself, if you want to get you out there, which is critical to do, you got to you now have your own home shopping channel because there are two keys to any successful business. You have to have what I call the D and the P. The D is distribution, being in front of the right people, building your base. And P is you got to have the right pitch.
Hmm.
You got to have the right presentation. Well, guess what? With the phone, you control both of those. You're able to build your base, you're able to create your distribution, and you're able to create the right presentation, the right pitch. If you're able to do those two things, I guarantee you'll be successful.
Yeah. It's amazing going
Yeah,
from, like you said, from a radio station
I know.
all the way through this. And now you're still saying you can still do this yourself. Like,
Yes.
because you're 100% right. The power in that phone is probably the same power as you had in the studio, and the
Yes.
reach is just as great or greater.
Yeah, I think it's greater. I think it's more powerful. I think I have for many, many years, I've taught people from all over the world. I mean, I've taught literally thousands of people how to look into a camera, be themselves, and talk about what it is they have in a way that gets a response. And it's amazing how it still works so wonderfully well in social media. The same type of presentation, the same type of delivery, the same criteria has to be met if you're doing it on the phone. That's what makes today, that's what keeps me so excited. It keeps me going. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
to know that everybody now you have your own home shopping channel, which is great. So you got to use it. You got to make it work.
Yeah. Because, like you said, what hasn't changed is people. People
Yeah.
love buying things.
Right.
They love it.
Right. 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 And the camera's the phone.
Yeah.
And whatever it is you have, your product, your service, your business, your idea, whatever it is you have, that you supply that and you're ready to go.
Yeah.
You
It's
know?
really amazing. So,
Yeah.
so wow. So I know that people are listening. My mind is going serious. There's so many questions because you went into a part that I wasn't even thinking about. Selling, because everyone does. I mean, people that are listening to our podcast, they most
Sure.
likely have a product, they have an idea. But the biggest problem that I get calls, and I think I talked to you about that, even my inventors or products that we make, even behind me, the biggest problem isn't making the product. And that's what I first, when I got into this business, thought it was going to be. It's selling the product.
Yes. Yes, you're so right. In fact, a gentleman by the name of Red Motley in 1942 created a quote that is still powerful and effective today. He said way back in 1942, nothing happens until somebody sells something. So you can be sitting there and you could have a great product, super service, great idea, whatever. But Carmine, you're right. I mean, if others can't get interested in it, if you can't get other people involved and wanting to buy your product, then you're just going to end up spinning your wheels. You're not going to go anywhere. You're going to become frustrated, and you're going to end up quitting. And we just don't want that to happen. So if you don't like to sell, that is very common.
Hmm.
And I would say, now here's a statement. Here's a powerful statement. If you don't like selling, it's because you're trying to get the other person to buy something. Think about that for a second.
That's
Huh?
blowing my mind with that.
Yeah, but it's true. It's true. I mean, you have to know how to do it. And it's so much easier than you think. We complicate it all. And it's not built on any, I'm not talking about any tricks or gimmicks, or it's all based on integrity and honesty and the knowledge of your product and the ability to be able to convey and effectively communicate your message. And that's what it is, and it can be. You can learn how to do it. I guarantee it.
Yeah, yeah.
I've seen it happen many, many times. Many times.
Oh my God, yeah. And I know that you had mentioned it earlier that are you still doing the I know you used to train people to go on air. Obviously you go on air with them and things like that. Are you kind of still doing those things?
Oh yeah. Oh sure. I love that part. I do it remotely. I do it through Zoom now because, like you said, the technology today allows us to do that. Isn't it amazing that before COVID, we had Zoom and we had all the video services and we never used them. And now we it's part of our everyday lives. But anyhow,
Yeah.
I digress. But then, yes, I still because I love doing that. I love seeing that light turned on. I like, and I work with a lot of entrepreneurs, sole business owners that are making a video on Facebook and Instagram. And because I've looked at a lot of them that are on there, and I got to tell you, with all respect, they're awful. I mean,
No, stop.
yeah, some of them are pretty bad. They really are. And that doesn't mean it has to be that way. It's just that they don't know how to do it. And so I get so much reward and satisfaction in tweaking it and seeing it change. And again, seeing that light bulb go off and saying, "Oh, I get it. I need to do this and that." And yeah. So the answer would be yes.
Yeah. No, that's great. And I know that we had talked and we're working on some things to work on together. And a lot of times, we only got about 5 minutes left, but I have 50 questions, so maybe we'll do another show. A lot of times, even myself or people that own product, I say, listen, we got to make a video, or you got to make a video. I want to post it. I want to, but they just don't know, or they're just not good on camera or things like that.
They're
And
afraid.
they're worried. And, we were talking about, doing some things to help some of these entrepreneurs, because I think video is one of the most important ways to get not only your product out there, but let people see it and feel it, see what it does. I don't think there's anything better than video.
Oh, you're exactly right. In fact, 91% of businesses in this country today use video. They use it because it's so powerful. Whether you have a video on your website, whether you're posting on social media, video gets through. It allows them to buy you and to buy what you're offering as well. But it allows, there's so much talk about AI nowadays because AI is a part of our everyday lives and who knows where it's going or what it's going to do. But when it comes to social selling, AI can do some things and there's some things it can't do. Things that can It's a great analytical tool. It's a great way to build customer interaction, whether it be FAQs, frequently asked questions, or customer interaction on other levels. It can create an automated host or hostess. It can do that. I don't think it does it all that well yet, and this can all change. So it's a great tool. What it can't do is kind of go with the flow. It cannot grab your personality. It can't grab your emotion and be able to connect. And that's the number one reason why people respond on anything is through emotion. And it's still having a tough time. Now, that could all change down the road because AI is so powerful and it's going to play even a more important part in all of our lives in the future. But right now, people buy you. And I just know you can do it. I have
Yeah.
yet to meet a person that I could not show how to do it.
Yeah.
And you're right. Yeah, we have a couple of announcements coming up in the near future, and so we want everybody to stay tuned for that because they are life changing, they
Yeah.
are career changing, business changing, and I'm really excited about that. So be sure and stay tuned for all the information that's
Yeah.
going to come out.
Yeah. Because again, I agree with you on the AI. AI cannot switch up something. They can't
Right.
emotionally connect to a product and to the viewers and things like that. And that's what I find with having somebody like you on with an inventor or talking about a product or just coaching or whatever that is. It's really pulling that up. Like you said, I love what you said. You're not really selling the product. It's an emotional thing. When I buy a product, I want to feel good about it, right?
Yeah. Oh, no, no question. No question. I was told, I went in one day because when I was on the air as a host in the early days, I was on the air 7, 8 hours every day,
Wow.
6 days a week, many times 7 days. And so it was hard pitching. And it was just hour after hour. And I remember going in one day, to Bud's office and saying, Bud, I quit. I can't do this anymore. And he said, what do you mean? And I remember saying to him, if I see one more cubic zirconia diamond, I'm going to scream. What else can I say that I haven't already said? And he said, no, come on, tell me, why don't you want to why don't you want to do this anymore? And I said, well, let me tell you why. Because I'm not a salesman. I don't like selling. I despise selling. I don't want to sell. And he said something to me that changed it all for me. He said, Bob, you got to remember one thing, that selling has nothing to do with sales.
Oh.
And when he said that, I said, what do you mean selling has nothing to do with sales? He said, no. When you're selling something, he said, when you're selling something, you are doing something to somebody. He said, but when you're helping someone, you're doing something for somebody. And as soon as I started looking at this selling thing from a helping perspective, it changed everything that I was doing.
Wow.
And so you have to look at what you have as how's it going to help somebody else? Because the 15% of the buying pattern of an individual, the buyer, 15% they are devoted to and determined by their past history, things they've run into in the past, what they believe from the past. 85% of that same buying pattern is based on anticipated futures. What is this product that you have for me? What is it going to do for me? How's it going to help me? How's it going to change my life? How's it going to transform what I do? How's it going to make my life better? That's where you have to start communicating from, and most people don't do that.
Yeah.
So that's just a little tease, so to speak. But it's true. It works.
100%. You know, have you ever calculated the amount of airtime that you had live stuff? I mean, it must be.
Somebody added it up years ago. I'm sure it's higher now.
Yes.
But years ago, it was over 25,000 hours of live selling and making over 75,000 separate product presentations.
Oh my God.
Because I used to do 10 products an hour for 8 hours a day. I mean, it really added up, you know. But one of the biggest thrills I've ever had, I know you know this, but I was a clue on Jeopardy.
Oh, yes. I was going to mention that.
Just 2 weeks ago, they used me and a product that I sold years ago. They used me as a clue on Jeopardy, and I was just so proud of that. It was such a thrill. I mean, I couldn't believe it, you know, when I saw it.
Yeah. You know, and I had it down in my notes, you know, to kind of close out with that. And I said, Bob, you know, you've all the things you've done in your life. When you're a clue on Jeopardy, you've made it.
I mean, what else? There's nothing left. That's it. You know.
You know what happened? And what I loved about it is the woman got it.
I know. We were talking about a product that I did years ago before cell phones. And believe it or not, to all the young people that are watching us, there was a time there were no cell phones.
Yeah. Oh, they're like, what? You know, yeah.
But the product was an AM, FM, radio, telephone, toilet paper dispenser. And so that was the product, and she got it. She answered it, you know, what did it dispense? And she said toilet paper, and she was right.
That's amazing. You know? How did that product sell? Do you remember?
Oh, it sold like crazy. But I tell you, when I first saw it, I said, who the heck is going to buy this? Are you kidding me? AM, FM, radio, telephone, toilet paper dispenser? Come on. And I remember saying, okay, now how many times has a call come in and you just were not in a position to take it? You couldn't take that call. You couldn't answer that phone. That'll never happen again. You'll always be able. I think we sold about 8,000 of them in less than 10 minutes.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Yeah, it's really something. So it's been a great journey, and I can't believe we're out of time already.
Well, we talked about it. We knew it was going to go fast, but
are
that's
we
okay.
Taping this? Are we?
Yeah, we're taping it. Yep.
Oh, I thought this was a rehearsal. No, just kidding.
Like that.
Just
my God. I still got 17 questions that I wanted to go over.
Well, we'll do it again. But I want everybody to stay tuned for those big announcements coming out. You do not want to miss this. If you're
it's pretty exciting. It's pretty exciting, the things that we're going to do. And like you said earlier, what I love about what we're planning on doing, it's going to help so many people, not with just, the products, but also the people
Right.
who are receiving products and things like that. It's so much fun to do this.
Yeah.
We didn't get
Yeah.
into you just we're at the University of Tampa speaking, and we didn't get into any of that. We'll do some more shows, but so much fun having you on, Bob. I mean, this
Oh.
is what happens. We meet up to talk about something. We ended up talking for 4 hours. The time goes by. It's just
Well,
it's always
my,
great to have you on. We're letting everyone know we got some really cool announcements coming up, and soon, and we'll be slowly trickling that out. And I just can't wait to get out there and start helping some more people.
I agree. And Carmine, always a pleasure to be with you, my friend. We go back many, many years, and I'm just so proud of your personal accomplishments and what you've been able to do and how you've committed your life to helping a lot of people out there. And you do that day in and day out. And so I think that's just, but I know that's the kind of person you are. I know that's what's in your heart, and that's what drives you is to help other people. So I congratulate you on everything that you've done, and I look forward to chatting again.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. Coming from yourself, somebody like yourself who has accomplished so much, I really truly appreciate that. It's awesome. So, yeah, Bob, thank you for all you listeners out there. Please go out to Google Play or iTunes, wherever you consume your podcast content. This will also be available on our YouTube page. All of our show notes will be on our podcast page. Appreciate you all for listening through these 8 years. I can't believe it. And we will catch you next time. For myself, for the great Bob Circosta, the legend in the industry, we thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you soon.